How's it going, everybody? I'm Jared Poirier, the founder of Galaxy Design, and welcome to a brand new series. This is the Creator Series.
This video is brought to you by Eureka Hub, the co-working space of choice for tech startups and creatives in Toronto. With dedicated desks, private meeting rooms, events, and access to Eureka's wider network, Eureka Hub has all the resources that your business needs. See for yourself at eurekahub.com.
Welcome back to the Creator Series. I am here with Kate Jonker, who is a very good friend of mine and a very ambitious entrepreneur. I really respect everything that you've built with Cosmic Creative, Kate, and I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Before we get into some of the nitty-gritty here, some of the questions that are really going to help aspiring creators, I just want to get a little bit more information about your background for everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jared. Of course. So I would say that my journey really started when I was about 16. And it comes down to me waking up one day and feeling suddenly like I wanted to record my high school experience. So I told all my friends, I went out and bought a handy cam, and I took it from there. And it was when I recorded that video and produced it that I found that I received a lot of appreciation from people. And I tried to get as many people in my grade to be in it as possible, and I felt like I was really using my creative skills for good. So I went on to go to university, and I made it my mission to sort of participate in as many student clubs as I could.
Nice.
So whether that was Right to Play or the Marketing Society or ISIC, I found my place in the creative field by producing materials like graphics and websites and videos. And when I graduated from the university, I was lucky to receive a few job offers. Wow. And I took one, with an international engineering company. And it was there that I kind of gained my confidence and my skill set within the digital field. And I feel so grateful for that experience. So I kind of was a year and a half in, and I felt like I wanted to have more autonomy and more creativity.
For sure.
Yeah, and what I was doing, and I wanted to help more people than just the industry I was in. So I had that daunting conversation with my boss, and I told my family and my friends, and I feel like that was probably one of the most nerve-wracking parts of becoming an entrepreneur, which I'm sure you can relate to. And coming out of the entrepreneur closet, I guess, if you will. Exactly. Well said, yeah. And once I had come out of the closet, I felt like, okay, this is it. I can do this. I'm out in the open. Everyone's supporting me. And I moved to Toronto, and that was 3.5 years ago today.
Nice. Yeah. Crazy, man. So just like basically getting involved like as early as you could, and taking advantage of like every single opportunity that came your way. So that's really good. It actually sounds like you had a pretty direct path to becoming an entrepreneur, which is awesome. Like a lot of people that I've talked to they had so many different like ideas and interests and stuff like that. And I guess that like you were lucky that you got involved early and started working on your skills early. Am I like getting the right idea there?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you say that, because I think the moment that I realized I wanted to pursue marketing, so I have my degree, my Bachelor of Commerce in Marketing Management Co-op and a certificate in leadership, I recognized that I wanted to bring people together. That's what I thought marketing meant when I was younger, was bringing people together and having people unite for a greater cause. And so I do feel lucky that I didn't change programs in school. A lot of people do. And that doesn't make me any better of a person. It just...
Oh, it does.
For the record.
Makes you a better, smarter person.
I'm privileged, and it's been really great. My dad's also an entrepreneur, so I was able to see him take steps towards independence and freedom in that regard. And I also have some mentors in my life that have taken steps like that as well. So awesome. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, like Kate honestly is one of the most ambitious people that I know, and she's incredibly motivated, and I honestly think that like you would have been successful no matter what you did. So I'm kind of wondering like what was it about like web design and building a creative agency that really like drew you in? Like that was the thing where you're like, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
Right. Great question. Yeah, I feel like first and foremost, the ability to have creative freedom and independence in my field has been of utmost importance to me. also the ability to create pieces that people can see themselves reflected in. So creating websites that people can relate to, resonate with, and be sitting there on the other side of the computer screen feeling something, feeling moved towards action, feeling heard, feeling understood. So being in the creative field, being a web developer, it has allowed me to really touch upon humanity, that humanity aspect of myself, and get out there and help my clients to communicate with their audience in an authentic and honest way.
Yeah, so kind of I think what draws a lot of people into like creating content or doing marketing on the internet, creating websites, is just like that kind of ability to communicate like really complex ideas and everything like through the internet. It's pretty exciting stuff.
And I'd say too, one of the co-op jobs that I had in university was a research journalist.
Nice.
And it was interesting, because I worked with researchers at the University of Guelph and understood their very complex research, and then figured out a way to relay that to the public in general terms.
Yeah.
And that was the start of my formal training in videography, photography, writing, and it's what led me to want to understand, I think, my clients' deep sense of passion and help them to explain some complicated processes to people who really just want to know kind of what's in it for them.
Yeah, definitely. Now that we've kind of got into a little bit of your background and talked a little bit of what got you into web design, I think we'll get into some of the details here for our viewers out there that might want to kind of go in the same path that you've gone. Maybe they want to build their own agency. And they want to do web design professionally, right? So we're going to talk about some of the tools, some of the tactics, and we're going to get into basically how you built the business that you are the queen of today. Let's start with tools. So what are some tools that you've used?
For sure. So I have relied upon a few project management tools like Asana, and also communication platforms like Slack. I've dipped into some marketing programs like Hootsuite and HubSpot, and also relied upon accounting software like QuickBooks. Cool. So there's tons of different software and programs out there.
Those are all good ones.
Yeah, they are, and they're widely used, right? A lot of entrepreneurs know about those particular programs, and it's because they work.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately, not as much as you think. Like, I know to you it seems like very natural, like, oh, you're just throwing these out, HubSpot, things, like, whatever.
Right.
But to people who are just starting, it's going to be like, oh wow, these are very helpful tools. I know that I didn't find out about like CRMs and really started doing like email marketing. I'm still trying to get those initiatives off the ground myself, and I'm 2 years into business like a slacker over here.
Fair enough.
So guys, don't be like me. be like Kate.
It's one thing to know about them. It's another to essentially put them into action. And
definitely.
There's so many things that an entrepreneur does. We wear so many hats, and you have to be aware that you can't do everything overnight, and you can't do it yourself.
Absolutely.
So taking on one platform at a time, taking each day as it comes, writing a task list, subtask list, and signing yourself up for these different programs that are going to make your life easier is something that is a slow process. And you're right, most people don't know about these programs who aren't entrepreneurs, but a lot of people who are well into their business are aware of them because they're so effective. Yeah,
and the reason why you should use stuff like that, like there's a reason why so many people do, and that really is because it's going to free up your time at a certain point. Like, marketing can be like very labor intensive if you're always like chasing down leads and blah blah blah. And if you actually just have something to organize that, like organize your outreach to your clients and your email marketing and things like that, gets easier, right? Yeah, sweet. Okay, so those are some tools, some very generic tools that everybody already knows about. The next one we're going to talk about, what are some tactics? So what are some like things that you've done? How did you get those clients? How do you keep them satisfied? How do you have them referring you and coming back to you and all those amazing things?
I think the best strategy that I've relied upon as an entrepreneur is networking. So I am absolutely humbled to be the president of a networking organization, and that centers around referral marketing.
Yeah.
So I meet every week with 20 business owners, and we talk about...
You can name drop them if you want, and that's fine.
Well, the business owners or the organization?
The organization.
Yeah, so it's called BNI. Yeah, it's called Business Network International, and it has over 9,000 chapters around the world. And just last year, we passed $15.7 billion worth of business across every chapter worldwide.
Yeah.
So it works, and it's focused on word of mouth advertising.
Nice.
So yeah, every week we meet up, we have lunch for an hour and a half, we talk about our business, we workshop our challenges, and importantly, we pass referrals.
Yeah. Nice.
So there's a system in place for us to record those referrals, and we have what's called one-to-one meetings outside of our weekly meeting, and it's been incredibly effective. So
nice.
Yeah, I've been a member for about a year and a half now, and that's something that's hugely impacted my business.
Yeah, so really like formalizing your networking in that way has been very helpful, and I think that's going to be something that a lot of people can benefit from who are watching this video. That they're going to know if there's anything like a BNI, there might be one in the city that you're in. There might be a couple of chapters. There's many in Toronto. But really any of those like networking groups or things like that are really good. But like you're saying, if you can find something where it's like a little bit more formal and people feel a little bit more committed, then it can be a little better, right? So,
definitely.
So the next thing that we're going to get into here, we've talked about tactics, we've talked about tools. So those are basically all the different types of advice that we want to give to people who are maybe new entrepreneurs or just getting into the creative field. There is, of course, the flip side of that. So what are some things that people should avoid if they want to become a professional web developer?
Great question. So a few things to avoid. I would say do away with your expectations. As you know,
avoid having expectations.
No expectations. Name of this video. And that's because you can have this grand vision for how fast you're going to be a success or what it's going to look like when you get there. But the sort of harsh reality of being an entrepreneur is that you're always on your way. And you reach different milestones as you go along, but if you have specific expectations in mind, you may find yourself being disappointed.
Oh, I think so for sure.
And that's general life advice, but very particularly useful when thinking about plotting a path that is so off the beaten path. And from there, I would say avoid sweating the small stuff. You are making progress every day, and if you are sweating the small stuff and thinking about the details and feeling worried about these little things, you're going to be worried every day. You're going to be stressed every day, because sometimes you do have to take a couple steps back to take a step forward and reroute and pivot and change your business and change your approach. So you have to be open to that.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. That's something that I think is such a valuable point to make, and something that people should really take to heart. Like me personally, like the ideas that I had for my business when I started, like they weren't even very good. They were like, how can I make a few $100 and whatever? And like later on you're like, okay, like let's get serious about this, and you start to put those systems together. And like, just to give you guys an example, like when I started, I was just doing graphic design, and now I'm doing like graphic design, I'm doing like web content, like video content, like you guys are seeing here, podcasts, and all types of different stuff. So.
So the idea is to think big and start small. And
nice, I like that.
And that's more of a mentality thing, and that's something to keep in mind is to avoid having a picture that's you have tunnel vision because you're set on doing things this certain way. So you really have to be open to feedback, open to criticism, and not to take things personally.
Absolutely. Otherwise you end up like Blockbuster or something.
And we don't want to be in that position.
You can't get like so obsessed about one business idea that you lose the bigger picture, right? So here's a good one. What is the most valuable thing that you offer to the world as a creator?
Great question. I would say the most valuable thing I offer the world as a creator is my tenacity and unwillingness to compromise on quality. As somebody who deals with details on a daily basis, a website is not complete until it has reached as close as possible to perfection. And I think a lot of web developers stop before they reach that point. So the fact that I do the work, I do it over and over, I do not stop until the site is completely perfect. That's something that I offer the world. And I think it's worth noting that a lot of web developers charge per revision. And for myself, I rely so much upon quality that I offer unlimited revisions.
Wow.
And I've been told before that that's courageous. And I thought that was funny because when you're producing a product that you're proud of and that you feel like your client will be equally proud of, there shouldn't be many revisions after that.
Right.
Of course, there's tweaks to content and potentially the order of certain sections on a page or whatnot. But when something is great, it's great, and it's widely recognized as that.
Right. So like being very thorough and like completing the entire job, like not just giving up halfway through, which like as someone who works in the creative field, like that is kind of an issue with like some creative minds out there. It can be kind of one of our biggest benefits is like the fact that we have so many ideas and stuff like that.
For sure.
But it is a little bit rare to find creatives who can be like incredibly focused and can just like sit down and do like a thorough job of something. So definitely if you need a website done, I would definitely hit up Kate for that.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
I appreciate that. And
Yeah,
I will
for sure.
say also my mojo. You gotta throw that in there.
You gotta have the mojo.
You gotta keep it light. I mean, you're working with people who are potentially very serious. And this is their livelihood. It's how they feed their family. It's their career. And so that part of it is serious. But beyond that, you can have fun with the creative process. And I think a lot of other marketing agencies have more rigidity in their process, and they're more strict in terms of how they get the work done. But each person is different. Each client is different. And to be adaptable in the face of that change from client to client is really important. And bringing your personality into each project, making your client laugh, having fun with them, making them friends
for sure
is something that I pride myself on.
Just the idea of like being enjoyable to work with is something that's like so huge. I definitely know that there are some clients of mine and like the type of work that I do for them, like they really could get anyone to do it and it would be the same price. Why they keep coming back to me? Well, it's just because they like hanging out with me, man. Like that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I'm sure you've experienced that a lot, right? Like,
Definitely.
your clients just like you and they like hanging out with you, and then they're like, okay, I guess I have to pay her.
That helps.
Kind of how it works. So those are all really good answers. I kind of want to get back into helping some creatives out there. And one of the challenges that a lot of creators face is those moments when you run out of inspiration, right? Where the tank can be on empty and you're wondering like where the inspiration, where the magic went. So what's your advice to people when stuff like that happens?
So
that one you can do in the camera.
All right, camera. Here we go.
Here's advice.
So I will start with a disclaimer that I more so worry about not having enough time to fulfill my creative ideas as opposed to having not enough of them. However, I am still human and I definitely find myself in a rut sometimes. So the advice that I'd give to up and coming entrepreneurs when they find themselves for a lack of inspiration, some things I do, I mean, go back to the basics, get back to your childhood, things that you love to do as a kid, things like I've recently been watching the world's best black and white movies, and that's something that brings me inspiration because I look at the great artists of the past and I find that I can relate with them. And that sometimes sparks some motivation. Beyond that, simple things like taking a bath, going for a walk. I love to cook. Sometimes I'll spend 3 hours or so just cooking something that I can be proud of, and afterwards I find myself not only with a full belly but also with some more inspiration.
Yeah, definitely.
So those are a few things that I lean on, and just taking some time to yourself and taking yourself away from the work and letting your mind roam free. And that's really where creativity strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. That can be a little bit like counterintuitive because you're like, oh, I need to get this done, and like this project's so important and I need to force it. But you honestly, like, you can't force it.
You can't.
With something creative, it has the magic has to be there or it's not, right? So take a break.
Yeah, take
really
a break, have a
Kit
Kit Kat.
Go for a walk, whatever you like to do. Go hang out with your dog. I started meditating, which I'm really bad at. But
nice. It's hard.
I'm trying. It is hard.
Yeah, for people
hard.
who are so ambitious. I mean,
to turn
your mind is just, it's roaming.
Yeah, but I do it when I sleep pretty well. So
nice. Yeah.
Pretty good at turning it off at that time. So
right.
So yeah, guys, really like the tip there is just take a break.
Yep.
It's a good tip. So the next one here, I love this question.
Okay.
So, what is one secret about your industry that people who want to break in need to know?
Yeah. So I think that one of the big secrets about being an entrepreneur and about the digital media industry is to treat your clients with respect and admiration, to treat each project like it is your own, and to look at a finished product and be sure that you are proud of it.
Right.
I think a lot of people in the industry are in it, I hate to say, but for a quick buck. And if you really look at the importance of return clientele, retaining your clients that you work so hard to build relationships with, you'll see that it is worth all of the time and the blood, sweat, and tears and in fulfilling a project the right way. So I wish it wasn't as much of a secret, but I do think that tenacity can be further pushed, and just to operate with integrity and to not cut corners.
Yeah, I like that idea of like treating a project like it's your own. Like, if you wouldn't be satisfied if you were gonna like use that to market your own business, then like don't put it out there, right?
Exactly.
And that also comes along with like charging the right amount of money. Like if you're not charging enough, then you won't be able to put enough work into it to make it like amazing, to make it effective, and really take that, like, something that I push a lot is like taking a customer success focused approach. Like, I don't think that customer service is enough, because anyone can have like put on a happy face and whatever.
Right.
But it's like having a good experience, but then also like having some like marketing or branding that's like literally effective at the end of the day is what's important.
Exactly.
Right?
And knowing that there are so many add-ons that you can do for websites, for graphics, for videos, that if they were your project, you would do. But when it's for somebody else, a lot of people will stop before finishing and completing something to its full potential. So exactly, treating every project like it's your own is going to get you farther.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the tips in this video are like, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Actually, like, care about the things that you're doing.
Right.
Have passion for things.
God forbid.
Be yourself. Sounds like being an entrepreneur is not that bad. Really.
Not that bad.
Cool. So,
it's all roses and daisies.
It's all great. It's never bad.
No.
You're never tired.
Not true.
All right. So this has been super fun, Kate. We're going to get into the last question here. I hope that this has been fun for you guys as well. I hope that you've learned a lot. So we're going to get into the last question here. And that question is going to be for those aspiring creatives out there. So basically, if you had someone in front of you right now who had a lot of skills in web design and web development, and quite a bit of skills in marketing and the right attitude and all of that they would need, but they just haven't taken the steps to build that career, get into the industry, and maybe they work somewhere where they're like not super happy, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say that instead of another successful entrepreneur like myself in front of you right now, there was one of those people who is a little bit more like how I used to be, back when I was just like bartending and not really knowing what I was doing with my life.
Just a wee Jared.
Yeah. Just a wee Jared out here in the world. So yeah, what advice would you give to past Jared?
All right, to past Jared, I would say start now.
Yeah.
Start today, start tomorrow, whether your idea is half-baked, quarter-baked, whatever it is. Get started, because as they say, 80% of the job is getting started.
Yeah.
And once you're rolling, it's a lot easier to gain momentum, because you've publicly outed yourself. You've said, I'm doing this thing. Hold me accountable to your friends and family, and then you're in it together.
Right.
I also feel like following, and this is cheesy, but following your inner voice.
Okay.
It's something that we often ignore. So I think it's about having the foresight to ask yourself what it is you want most in this world, and then having the courage to act on that answer.
Yeah.
And to somebody who's unhappy in their job, I would also say, know that you're not going to feel this way forever. It is a stage of your life that you're in, and you have complete control over your next move. And if you have an idea, drill down on that idea. Be clear about it. What is it that you offer? Where's the value? Who ideally will buy your products? And how will you go about marketing yourself? So make a plan, write out your tasks, write out your subtasks, create a list, and check off those list items one by one. It's also like a woman I admire, Thelma Golden, says, success is the merging of passion and purpose. And if you're thinking about something that has not been able to leave your mind for quite some time, the chances are it might be a part of your purpose.
For sure.
So pursue that with all of your will.
Yeah, and the trick is getting that stuff out of your mind and onto paper.
Yeah.
As weird as it is, sometimes like just planning stuff out, and like that kind of makes it real sometimes. It's
it does.
Putting it like on a piece of paper, and then actually like doing it. Try your ideas. Like when you're saying like if your idea is half baked or quarter baked or eighth baked or 16th baked, you won't know how baked it is until you try it out, right? Until you actually like you put it out there in the market, and like and let the market tell you if it's a good idea or not sometimes, right? Not to say that you should do that with a lot of money at first.
Right, yeah.
Put it out there, test the idea, and then put a bunch of money behind it. But
you got it.
Yeah, so Kate, honestly, this was such a great episode, such a great interview, such great energy. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I think that the audience will have gotten a lot out of this. I think that they will have learned a lot. Yeah, so anybody who's watching that wants to build a creative career, I think they will have got a lot out of this, and I really appreciate you coming on. And guys, look forward to the next episode of the Creator Series with another exciting guest. Thank you, Kate, so much.
Thank you, Jared.
Have a great week.
Peace, guys.